Good evening, this is Atmospheric Alex, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at some southern snow chances and even some northern light chances as well for folks pretty far south. All those details and more coming right up. Now we're going to start off the video by looking at some analysis data here. You can see we do have quite a significant snowstorm ongoing across portions of Michigan and really just Michigan actually the more I look at this. And then we do have some other pockets of snow, say in Minnesota here, some drifting through Iowa and Illinois, and then some back-end energy through Nebraska, and that is going to be bringing snow down to portions of the southeast tomorrow. Mainly the Appalachian Mountains in East Tennessee is going to be seeing that snow. And then we have a bunch of rain in other locations as well. Now, in terms of our alert map here, you can see we do have some wind advisories in your Appalachian Mountains here, some special weather statements in other areas that's mainly going to be concerning snow. We do have winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories up here through Michigan, and some high wind warnings up through Montana, just like normal. So we're not talking about too much activity other than all that snow up there in the UP and then surrounding areas. As we take a look at our winter storm severity index here, we're taking a look at definitely some moderate impacts here across some of your mountainous areas of New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, portions of Massachusetts as well, is talking about some weak impacts. Nothing too significant, some stuff over here in Michigan, but again, nothing too serious. Now moving into tomorrow, you definitely are going to be talking about some prolonged impacts here, but again, only moderate winter weather impacts, nothing higher end than that, so pretty much stuff that you all are used to at this time of year. Now, as we go ahead and take a look at what our radar could be looking like over the next few hours into the next day, you can see our winter storm is still churning here across upper portions of Michigan, and then some of your snow showers and snow squalls across Illinois, Indiana there, and then a ton of moderate to heavy snow across your northeast, Burlington, Augusta, Maine. Hopefully my face cam isn't blocking it again. This is kind of a new setup for right now. I'm going to have to add more sidebar stuff later on, more custom sidebar stuff. That'll be coming eventually, and I'm very excited to announce that. But you can see we do have a lot of snow in those areas. And then your wraparound moisture down here. Let's take a look into East Tennessee, into Kentucky. We're going to be talking about some snow showers, maybe some isolated snow squalls as we head into tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but into Sunday morning. So that is something we're going to have to watch out for. Those showers and squalls will continue, even breaking through into North Carolina a little bit. Portions near Raleigh could see some snow showers flying around, and that is about all said and done. A little bit of a clipper system up here, and then another cold shot of air gets reloaded way off to the north. Now, taking a look at our temperatures over the next couple of weeks or so, you can see our cold air does stick around for a bit longer, and we begin to realize a bit of a warm-up. Not too significant of a warm-up, but we could be talking about temperatures, say, in the 50s and maybe even some 60s down here, so a lot more seasonable for you all, rather than those mid-80s. That was ridiculous, right? You can see more cold air is coming to crash down, though, and as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, definitely going to be talking about lows below freezing in some locations, and just continued cold. That's going to be the main story with our upcoming pattern change, and then some periods of warmth, I think, after the after the 10-day mark is what I will say. We are expecting a bit of a warm-up again, though. How significant is this warm-up? Are we going to see temperatures in the 70s? That remains to be seen. We really have no idea just yet. What does our GFS model think? It's probably roughly on the same page here. You can see its warm-up is a little more significant out there in the plains and continuing through, even into the 60s, almost 70s into Oklahoma again. So yeah, the GFS is a lot more aggressive, I would say, on your warm-up, but then your cold air does come crashing down a lot more significantly on your GFS. And look at some of these low temperatures in East Tennessee down in your mid to low teens. That is really cold for you all, but fairly normal for this time of year. And Wi-Fi has been acting up a little bit. My goodness, I'm trying to get these things to load. Even some single digits, that's a little bit excessive. And then here comes your next polar plunge here. And again, it's going to be cold. This is a little bit unrealistic. In fact, I'm going to put a gigantic red X through this because this is not going to happen. We're not going to see temperatures in the negatives across those areas. It seems a little bit too insane, a little too absurd this far out in time. But the GFS really wants to keep reloading our cold air supply consistently, and it does show a lot of snow in progress because of all this, and we'll show you all that in a little bit. Our precipitation chart here, this is from our European model. You can see some of that energy sliding in over there, and we see more Clipper systems all throughout, but we're not seeing any connection of energy here. We're not seeing any signs of significant winter storms, or it doesn't even have to be significant, but just a good shot of snow in the first place. So that's kind of strange. European model is actually seeming to be a little less accurate than normal, right? You still see some energy flying around up here, but this just isn't going to get the job done. And in fact, this is kind of far north. I would expect some of this to drop further south. And of course, as we continue here, there's nothing on the European model. So I would almost call this an outlier model, but the fact it's been accurate all winter long has me a bit concerned for you snow lovers out there. The GFS model is a vastly different story. This model actually juices up things a lot more here. You can see, especially with your first system here, we are talking about a lot of snowfall here across East Tennessee and portions of the Appalachian Mountains. That was not seen on your European model. Nice low pressure system really getting going, cranking up there. 992, heavy snow into Washington, into Philadelphia, and boom, along New England here. That is some very significant snowfall right there. That would constitute a strong nor'easter system, no doubts about that. And just after that, we got another piece of energy loading up, and boom, big time snowstorm across West Tennessee, portions of Arkansas here, Martin, Tennessee. Man, you're getting buried in snow on this GFS model run. Gotta keep our fingers crossed for this, right? I really want snow, especially a big snowstorm out there. This goes through Middle and East Tennessee. Very heavy snow on this model run. Holy cow. This is absolutely not a forecast, though. Unfortunately, the GFS may be a bit out to lunch. And that's all said and done afterwards. Is there anything else that happens? Well, we do in fact have a cold air damming situation here, a CAD storm developing right here on your other side of the Appalachian Mountains. That is going to be something I suppose we may have to watch out for. Systems like that sneak under the radar. But other than that, GFS, very active. European, not a peep. Very quiet. And just how cold is it going to get in our low levels here? This is our European ensemble, and you can see each subsequent blast of cold air. Look at this. Very intense burst there. Yeah, you can tell it here. Your 30-degree Fahrenheit line is all the way down here. Wow. That reminds me of what we saw last year at times. I mean, we're talking really excessive cold air dipping really far south. And this really continues. I mean, the European is not as sold as a warm-up as the GFS is, but still, it's gonna stay a little bit mild, potentially, after all this cold air. Now, of course, our GFS ensemble paints a partially different picture, not too different from the European. You could see this is a major blast of cold air. I mean, you could see how far down your line gets right there. It's going to be cold out there. Question is it going to be cold and wet or cold and dry? That is what we're trying to figure out, and it's been very difficult to figure out because the European will not budge. And you can see this next shot of cold air kind of lingers around a bit. Look at that very, very classic cold, wet look right there for the South US. And you can see this does continue. And we do get a little bit colder at the end of our model run. Again, our 30-degree Fahrenheit line is right about here. So we could see definitely more cold blasts after that brief warm-up, after that possibly snowy period for portions of the southern U.S., the mid-south, southeast. I guess you could say in this general area here, where I'm about to circle here, is going to be in for a very snowy time. Kind of all this right through here is probably going to be in for some snowy action right within there. And so the European extended absolutely shows this. Take a look at that. We're talking about a pretty significant snow mean out in the east here across these areas. But just to the west of that line, I do think there's going to be a very, very fine line between a ton of snow and really not much snow at all, or even no snow. It's probably going to set up somewhere in middle Tennessee right there. I'm talking about you all folks in Tennessee. So areas there in West Tennessee, you may not see a lot of snow from this pattern, and I really hate to break it to you all. We're going to need things to slide even further west for any hope. You could see we do have a very weak signal of snow going really far off to the south, but only time will tell to see whether or not that can verify or not. Now, jumping gears here, you did see at the beginning of the video when I showed off the thumbnail, the northern light potential. I did talk about it briefly. Well, here it is. Here is our NASA model right here. And you could see our strong solar storm actually getting launched from the sun here. Actually, two solar storms, and they're actually heading right off towards Earth here, and the impact time is right now. We are starting to see impacts as I speak, so pretty exciting for you all there. But you can see this is a direct impact, potentially. This is from one model. Another model shows more of a glancing blow, but the fact is it's at Earth right now, causing a geomagnetic storm. So how exciting is that? And this is pretty cool to look at here too. Right before our solar storm moved in, we saw a sharp rise in our protons here. So this right here, this rise is caused due to some fast solar wind impacting Earth. This is from a coronal hole in the sun. No, it's not an actual hole in the sun. It's just an area of higher solar wind speeds, and that could also trigger northern lights. But right here, this spike upwards, this is your solar storm on approach. And right at this peak here, right here when it starts dipping down, this means our solar storm has arrived and our protons are going to begin to settle down slowly over time. So when you see that sharp rise of your protons, that's how you know a solar storm is on the way. And so because of all this, we're currently under a KP6. This is a G2 geomagnetic storm, so a 2 out of 5 on the geomagnetic storm scale, and that would be considered, I believe, a moderate to a strong storm currently impacting Earth. Down here, as I zoom in, you could see our hemispheric power. That is landed right in the red right here. That is very favorable for mid-latitude northern lights. So, states that aren't exactly in the northern U.S., states, say, all the way down to Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee may even see a shot tonight. 111 gigawatts. That is a lot of hemispheric power waiting to be released. So pretty exciting news there. Our solar wind speeds are around 600, so that is very favorable. We do have some scattered densities. Our magnetic field is tilted way off to the south here, in between really -10 to -20 nanotesla. You really want to see that below -10, so we have been doing really good on that. So all we need to do is wait for the sun to set, and we definitely have the shot of seeing northern lights quite far south tonight. And then one last thing, our magnetometer data here has been responding really well to this geomagnetic storm here. You can see we had a really nice substorm right here. You can see how everything spikes up really quickly on our data. That indicates a substorm. Basically, the northern lights push really far south, and the pillars at the tops get really, really bright and are visible much further south. So that is something to really note. So we're looking pretty good there on our magnetometer data. Now, from the officials here, they're only forecasting a G1 according to the Space Weather Prediction Center, but we've already exceeded those expectations. So this red view line here, move that quite a lot further south, and I think that's what we're going to be dealing with tonight. I'd say something along the lines of this red curved line that I drew here. That is what I am most likely expecting our view line to be tonight, though it could even go a little bit further south. So again, stay tuned and watch for those substorms. Now, as we take a look at our cloud cover forecast for tonight, according to the RDPS model, in my opinion, one of the most accurate models for cloud cover, we're going to go going kind of into peak timing here. You can see we do have a lot of cloud cover across our eastern U.S. Northeast, unfortunately, Maine, Mount Katahdin will be completely clouded over tonight. That's very unfortunate because there's a really good night sky camera there that captures the northern lights that you can use kind of as a guide to see how far south these northern lights go. So unfortunately, that'll be clouded over. It does appear that we could have some clouds across our central U.S., some snow showers associated with that, and then basically our entire northern tier is going to be clouded, except for your northwest and north central U.S. We are expecting some breaks in the clouds, but it's going to be a rough night for a lot of people. So that is going to be something to watch out for. Down here, though, across your southern plains, central plains, West Tennessee looking absolutely perfect for viewing tonight. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on all that where I'm stationed. That being said, I hope everyone enjoyed the video. And if you did, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to my little corner of the weather community, and share this video with friends and family on social media. And even leave a comment in the section below if you enjoyed it, if you found it informative. As you can tell, I am back in college again, and I'm hoping to really start up near daily uploads again, as things are not too intense right now in terms of workload, so that's some great news. You all have a wonderful night, everyone. Stay a bit weather aware out there in northern Michigan and other surrounding areas, and hopefully you all get to see the northern lights tonight.